as temperatures have fallen off, 47 degrees, but nearby airport is Hillsboro, and that one has showed a temperature of 39 degrees. Wow. All right, 46 up in Kelso this morning. Again, we're primarily dry right now, except for that rain running up the Cascades and out through scattered areas of the gorge near to east of Hood River. 35 and 36 in Baker City and Burns. Trying to get up into the 60s today, mix of cloudiness. So far, Salem, you're starting off with a lot of sun. That chance of a shower holding off until mid-afternoon or later today. Similar comments for Southwest Washington. Shows 67 in Battleground. So if we get more sun than we had yesterday, we'll be a little bit warmer. Yesterday it was only 60 at the airport. I had forecasted 66. Thought we'd have more sun than we did. Tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday into Monday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. There's the real wet pattern, Chris, with occasional rain expected each day, sir.
Guess it's getting into the second half of October, so we expect that, right? All right, let's go ahead and get you out the door. That's not fun. That's I-5 through North Portland. We'll look at that drive time in just a second. Also running really thick, the inbound Sunset. Highway 26 now has spiked up in the last few minutes. We're now knocking on the door of about 40 minutes to get you in from Hillsboro. Meanwhile, over on the east side, speaking of not looking fun, there's the drive underneath the Max tracks here on Interstate 84 westbound. So 205 onto 84 west. That's always a pinch point this time of the morning. And at last but not least, that drive from Clark County right now. Just shy of 30 minutes now to get you in from Main Street south to the Fremont Bridge. Corey?
All right, thanks, Chris. Also to come on Sunrise, a former Westland doctor is indicted on nearly a dozen charges. This after he's accused of sexually assaulting women and girls in his care. More details on the charges coming up when Sunrise streaming live at 7 comes back.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
A grand jury indicted a former Westland doctor on 11 counts of sexual assault.
That's right. Alma McCarty has more details on the accusations against the doctor and why attorneys are calling the indictment a major victory.
According to a letter obtained by KGW, a confidential grand jury convened last week and after a day and a half of testimony issued an indictment that includes 11 felony sexual assault charges against David Farley. This indictment marking the first criminal charges against Farley, a former doctor who ran a family medicine practice in West Lynn. In a civil suit, more than 170 women and girls have alleged sexual abuse by Farley, who abruptly retired in 2020. The Oregon Medical Board revoked his license a few months later for, quote, unprofessional and dishonorable conduct and gross repeated acts of negligence. We spoke with attorney Courtney Tom in May of this year after a hearing in the civil case.
The strong women and children that we represent, and it's been a very extremely brutally long road. but they remain committed, not only for themselves, but for the many women and children that have yet to come forward.
Alleged victims have fought for years for accountability and justice. In 2022, a Clackamas grand jury declined to indict Farley on criminal charges. And in 2024, the DA sent a letter to Oregon's Attorney General asking the state's DOJ to take up the criminal investigation.
That was Alma McCarty reporting. Now, as reported in the letter, Farley is expected to be arrested, booked, and arraigned tomorrow at the Clackamas County Courthouse. We reached out to Farley's attorney, but we haven't heard back yet.
All right, coming up here at 8 o'clock, a legal showdown just over an hour away. A federal appeals court will decide whether President Trump has the authority to deploy the National Guard to Portland. Also,
people have been displaced. They will be displaced for the next decade. And I want him to know that, like, how much people are suffering, how much suffering he caused.
A 29-year-old is now under arrest, accused of starting the deadly Palisades fire near Los Angeles. How residents of the Palisades are reacting.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
Coming up on 7:59 on our Thursday morning commute, we are in full swing. So a number of slow spots out there. There's a look at the Banfield. That doesn't look too fun right now, coming in from the Gateway District. At last check, it's just shy of 30 to get you in from Troutdale. 35 minutes, the inbound commute from Hillsboro. And last but not least, the slow slog that is the I-5 South Drive every morning. This is not unusual, but just to let you know we're watching it. That's up near the Expo Center. Total trip in from Vancouver right now, Rod, that's averaging just shy of 30 from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge.
All right, thanks for the time update there, Chris. We've been watching rain showers moving south to north along the Cascades all morning. Other than this, it's mainly dry in our state. There have been some lightning strikes down around Mount Jefferson as well, so we're keeping an eye on that. Portland getting some brightening to the sky. The cloudiness we've had starting to move out a little bit. 45 is the current number. It looks like a dry morning, 59 at noon. Then mid-afternoon into early evening, the chance of a few showers in the valley, 62 at 5 p.m.
I think the Ninth Circuit's really going to focus on whether the administration made out its case.
Now on KGW Plus, a major court hearing just an hour away. The Trump administration wants a restraining order lifted so it can deploy the National Guard to Portland. What's at stake coming up in our top story.
I was just given a note by the Secretary of State saying that we're very close to a deal in the Middle East.
And a breakthrough in the Middle East. Israel and Hamas agreed to the first phase of President Donald Trump's peace plan. The new agreement sparking celebration and hope after 2 years of war. Then,
we will prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he intentionally started this fire.
Police in Florida arrest the man accused of starting the deadly Palisades fire near Los Angeles earlier this year. How prosecutors connected him to the fire, along with reaction from residents of the Pacific Palisades. The 8 o'clock hour sunrise starts right now.
well, good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Corey Johnson in for China Green today.
And I'm Drew Carney. Chris McGinnis and Rod Hill also ready to go here in the 8 o'clock hour. Rod, we start with your Thursday forecast.
Yeah, right now it's pretty nice out here in Portland. Good morning, everybody. We've got some decent blue sky up top. We have light winds. Temperatures generally 40s to about 50 degrees. Been watching this rain along the Cascades all morning. It's produced some pretty good rain up through the Dalles and the Gorge, for example. Otherwise, the other batch of rain is holding offshore. Here's Lincoln City. Nice morning there. No signs of any shower activity. 53 degrees from Schnookwood's Casino Resort. And Salem, you folks have been just blue and lovely this morning. There's our state capitol mall. 43 is the number. I mentioned increasing sun over Portland. Now the Rose City camera looks pretty clear as well, 45. So all dry this morning. We'll be nearing 60 at noon. There is a scattered shower threat today in the valley, but it won't come until after we get into mid-afternoon, then into early this evening. And if we get some passing showers, I don't think it'll be much. The real wet pattern, Christopher, as you know, starts tomorrow, sir.
Rodney, thank you for that. Let's take you out to the Gorge. Real quick, heads up for folks in Skamania County. If you travel on SR 14, both directions here, there's about just shy of a 20-mile stretch over the next 2 weeks where Washed Out will be doing some brush clearing and whatnot on the side of the road. And the impact will be that in the areas where they're doing that brush clearing, they're going to reduce traffic to just one alternating lane. So just know that over the next 2 weeks, if you travel through that part of Skamania County, SR 14 will bring you some delays. All right, we do have delays on the freeway right now as we look at the cameras out there. The slowest of our inbound commutes at last check, that's coming in from Hillsborough. Right now, Drew, I can tell you it's almost 40 minutes to get in from Hillsborough to I-405.
All right, thank you, Chris. Let's get back to our top story this morning, and this is new information. Portland police say they arrested 4 people near the ICE facility yesterday, 3 of them for harassment. The 4th person was initially cited for menacing and then released, but about an hour later, officers say they arrested them for allegedly shining what was described as a powerful blue laser into a Portland police airplane. Police also say most of yesterday's protest activity didn't happen right in front of the ICE facility. Instead, it took place about a block away. Last night, our crew covering the protest saw police handcuff someone, but it's not clear if that person was one of the 4 people mentioned in last night's arrest report. And in just a few hours here, an appeals court will hold a hearing to address the deployment of the National Guard to Portland.
That's right. That hearing is scheduled to start at 9 o'clock. Now, Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz is covering this story for us in South Portland and joins us live near that ICE facility. Thomas, what's the latest?
Yeah, well, guys, that panel of judges for the appellate court will hear arguments from both attorneys for the state of Oregon and the Department of Justice. That hearing will also be remote, though it will be live streamed. And really, the judges are trying to answer one question here. Does President Trump have the authority to send National Guard to Portland based on the protests that we've seen? For weeks, President Trump has characterized Portland as being war-ravaged and tried to bring in the Oregon National Guard. When that was blocked by a federal judge, the administration pivoted and tried to bring in National Guard troops from California and Texas. That was also blocked by a federal judge who said the administration didn't show federal troops were needed in Portland. Now it's up to the Ninth Circuit Appellate Court to review that decision.
So I think the Ninth Circuit really is going to have to get into the details of whether the president has offered any evidence to back up his assertion that chaos and war are reigning in downtown Portland.
The 3-judge panel will decide whether to uphold or reverse a temporary order barring deployment of the National Guard. Over the weekend, Judge Karen Emmerget, who is a Trump appointee, ruled National Guard troops could not be deployed here for at least 14 days. Both sides have filed extensive briefs in this. The state of Oregon argues the deployment of the National Guard is unnecessary and unlawful. The feds say the president has the authority and add extra help is needed outside the facility. Now today, each side will get 20 minutes to present their arguments. That does not include any questions that they may receive from judges. It's unclear what a decision could look like here or when a ruling will happen. Of course, that's all something that we'll watch closely throughout the day. Drew, Corey.
All right, Thomas Schultz live for us there near the South Waterfront. Now, we plan to stream the appeals court hearing live this morning starting at 9 a.m., followed by analysis from our team here. That will be available on our free TV app, KGW+.
Portland police shared information about a bizarre arrest they made earlier this week. Police say 36-year-old Nathan Khalil was wanted in connection with a disturbance at the ICE facility. On Tuesday night, officers say they approached him near the Willamette River. That's when they say he hid in the bushes and eventually dove in the water, swimming to Ross Island. Police used K-9 units to track him down. Khalil is charged with robbery and criminal mischief.
Well, Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem was back at the White House yesterday, where the president held a roundtable to discuss efforts to crack down on left-leaning groups, specifically the anti-fascist movement known as Antifa. Secretary Noem accused Oregon's governor, Portland's mayor, and other leaders of, quote, covering up terrorism.
These leaders in these local cities, along with Pritzker and Johnson, ignore what's going on, or, sir, they're helping Antifa cover it up.
And in Portland, Oregon, Antifa thugs have repeatedly attacked our offices and laid siege to federal property in an attempt to violently stop the execution of federal law. Everything we're doing is very lawful.
And President Donald Trump recently signed an order designating Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization, even though the group is not an actual organization with leadership, but rather a broad term that can be applied to some decentralized far left groups. And make sure to stay with KGW for the latest updates surrounding Portland's ICE facility and the National Guard. Look for the latest on KGW.com, on our mobile app, and right here on our free TV app, KGW+.
Two hikers who were lost in the Columbia River Gorge for hours have been rescued. The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office says the hikers called 911 around 10:30 Tuesday night, saying that they couldn't find their way back. Rescue crews used GPS coordinates from a hiking app to find them near the Rock of Ages Trail. That trail has been closed and off limits since the Eagle Creek fire 8 years ago. A drone helped spot the hikers, who were found cold and thirsty, but otherwise okay.
Well, Timberline is warning about higher prices this season. This after a change in insurance coverage. Now, the resort says its insurance carrier left Oregon on October 1st, forcing it to find new insurance, but at a much steeper price. Some of that extra cost will be passed on to skiers and boarders, specifically peak time lift tickets, Tier 2 season passes, and summer ski products. Now, there's no set date for when the season officially opens at Timberline, but it typically happens around Thanksgiving.
I'll tell you what typically happens around our house every time this part of the year rolls around. My sons say, almost in unison, "Hey, Dad, what is Rod saying about the winter? When's his winter outlook coming out?" I mean, they start asking that like the first week of school.
Really?
Yes.
You know, a lot of people, I'm getting emails, people wanting to know when it comes out, which on the one hand tickles me. On the other hand, it makes me realize that I'm going to have to keep doing this every year that I'm still working, because there are people that really look forward to it.
Can I just tell Corey real quickly? It's a big deal.
Oh, it is. It sounds like a big deal.
When his winter outlook comes out, it's a big deal. All right, Rod, go for it.
It's kind of a surprisingly big deal. I mentioned earlier in the show, real quick, I'm going to finish up my research work, I believe, this weekend. And then we'll start getting the graphics and all that put together next week. We should have it the final week of October, which is when we typically have it here on Sunrise. All right, Timberline Lodge, we were just talking about the ski resort up there, perhaps raising prices, it sounds like, this winter. Looking south, you can see some breaks in the cloud cover. This is where the rain has been, though, near the crest or the summit of the Cascades, and then over on the east flank of it, over into Central Oregon and moving up into the gorge. It's 39 up on Mount Hood right now. Downtown Portland has opened up a lot of sun, 45 degrees. Nice morning. Looks like we will stay dry all the way into the afternoon on this Thursday. There's a cool spot, one of them anyway, Hillsborough, 38 degrees. Winds are light out there. We've also and are still seeing some 30s in Corvallis and Dallas. Salem, good morning. You too have a lot of blue sky. 43 is the number. So the rain bullseye today is likely what's happening right now, and that's some rain moving up the Cascades. There is a scattered shower chance all areas, but mainly dry, partly cloudy and 70s out east today. And really mainly dry up and down I-5 with temperatures in the 60s. We are eyeing a mid-afternoon to early evening scattered shower threat in the valley, which we may or may not get. Today's high 65. Now, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, this is basically rain at times, including some heftier rain amounts. Futurecast is showing some pretty good rain coming through the Portland area tomorrow in the 8 o'clock hour, which will be 24 hours from right now, of course. All right, here's Chris.
All right, Rod, we've got the red paintbrush out. That's no good for the morning commute drive times now. We are in the heart of the slowest part of our drive typically, and the drive times are responding. We're up to nearly 40 minutes to get you in from Hillsborough, more than 30 from Troutdale. The I-5 Wilsonville northbound commute also building. Let me take you there into the Twilliger Curves. This is a really slow spot here. Working your way up from Capitol Highway towards the Burlingame area. We're moving along at no, I think I could get out walk faster than that at this point. So yeah, we're in full swing for sure on that side of town. The trip out of Clark County, not bad at all over the Glenn Jackson Bridge. And this is a little misleading because the end of the line is actually in North Portland. So about 22 minutes of this is from the Interstate Bridge down to the Fremont.
All right, thank you, Chris.
People have been displaced. They will be displaced for the next decade. And I want him to know that how much people are suffering, how much suffering he caused.
A 29-year-old is under arrest accused of starting this year's deadly Palisades fire near Los Angeles. More about the suspect after the break and later.
We're seeing celebrations across Israel and the Gaza Strip as word spread of a Phase 1 agreement to President Trump's Gaza peace plan. I'm Alice Barr in Washington. Coming up, we'll have the latest on what that means for bringing Israeli hostages home.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Police in Florida arrested a 29-year-old Uber driver who is accused of starting the deadly Palisades fire in Los Angeles earlier this year.
That's right. Authorities allege that Jonathan Rendernecht maliciously set the fire, which killed a dozen people. NBC's Liz Kreutz brings us the latest from Los Angeles.
This morning, investigators tracing the massive destruction of the Palisades fire back to this man.
We are announcing the arrest of 29-year-old Jonathan Rendernecht,
blaming his recklessness for starting the blaze that would become one of the most devastating in Los Angeles history.
We will prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he intentionally started this fire. and maliciously.
The Justice Department announcing the arson charge after Renderneck was arrested near his home in Florida. He's expected in an Orlando court later this morning. According to the criminal complaint, authorities say Renderneck was driving for Uber this past New Year's Eve when, after his final drop-off just after 11:30 in the Pacific Palisades, he drove alone to a nearby trailhead and allegedly set a brush fire.
This is the trail where the fire started. You can see it looks right over the Pacific Palisades. Investigators say the fire was ignited from an open flame, likely from a lighter.
Officials say Renderneck repeatedly tried to call 911 but couldn't get through from the remote area. While that fire was initially believed to be put out, investigators have now determined it reignited days later.
It smoldered underground for about a week.
Authorities have not revealed a motive, but did disclose chilling evidence they say shows Renderneck may have had a fire fixation and created these AI images.
The allegations in the affidavit are supported by digital evidence, including the defendant's ChatGPT prompt of a dystopian painting showing in part a burning forest and a crowd fleeing from it.
In the Palisades, where so much was lost, shock and anger.
People have been displaced. They will be displaced for the next decade. And I want him to know that how much people are suffering, how much suffering he caused.
It's crazy to think we're now about 10 months removed from that fire, but still having major effects down there in Southern California. Let's talk about our local weather, Rob. We've got some rain moving in at some point today.
Yeah, well, already up into the Cascades. Here's a look at what's going on. Big upper level low sitting offshore. You know, every now and then the modeling gets something exactly right. So 24 hours back, when I was talking to you yesterday, the modeling did pick up this rain band crawling south to north along the Cascades, and that has happened. We've had some puddling rains up into the Dalles. We've had a few lightning strikes down around Jefferson. The upper level low that's now going to be our main rain machine all the way into the first part of next week is pretty well developed, and you've got some rain with that low, but so far that area of rain is holding offshore. So basically, only rain inland right now is what's crawling up the Cascades. Futurecast shows that falling apart toward the noon hour. It could produce some light showers in some of our foothill communities. A lot of cloudiness this afternoon, and there's a wave of shower activity moving through the valley, which may or may not happen. If it does, some of us would pick up some rain later today, some of us won't. Remember, today was all about, and still is, starting the chance of rain. But it just doesn't look like there's much out there away from the Cascades, what we're seeing right now. So lots of dry time today. If we're going to see a shower, it's later today into this evening here in Portland, Salem, and Vancouver. It still appears that starting tomorrow, right from the get-go, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, into Monday, is basically rain at times with showers or rain bands coming and going. This shows a rain band at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning that would have some pretty hefty rain rates with it. And with the low sitting offshore and already lightning detected around Jefferson, there's at least a chance of some lightning embedded if we get a rain band early tomorrow morning as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. Here's more rain kind of picking up. And if anything, this may be underplaying it a little bit. So here's Saturday at 1 o'clock. I still think Saturday into parts of Sunday, it will be raining more than it's not, with low gray clouds and temperatures pinned in the 50s. So that's what's upcoming. Rain totals, this is mainly, what's going to be here tomorrow through Sunday. 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch coast and valley. All right, some cameras. So the showers, as I mentioned with that low center, are holding offshore. All of our coast cameras are showing at least some sun. So that's a nice morning in Seaside, which is right here. And there's Tillamook Head from the camera at Gerhardt by the Sea Resort. It's been sunny over our state capital all morning, temperatures in the 40s. Mixed bag of some cloudiness over the vineyard out in Chehalem from the tasting room camera there. Again, PDX reporting 45. It's now down to 37 in Eugene, so there are some cool spots around. Valley temperatures today bouncing up into the 60s. The mix of cloudiness to increasing cloud cover and that chance of some showers later this afternoon into early evening. 7-day forecast numbers show the raindrops, or Chris called them teardrops, into the first part of the week. We might squeeze out one completely dry day on Tuesday, Chris.
I mean, when you see 6 of 7 days with a chance of rain, they may be teardrops, right? All right, good news, not so good news. So this is a little misleading. The end of the line on I-5 has cleared the interstate bridge, so that's the good news. But once you do, the southbound commute really hits the brakes near the Expo Center, just south of this vantage point. So getting down towards Columbia Boulevard, it's pretty heavy the rest of the way into town. Also really thick on the inbound Sunset. That's over there on the left-hand side of your screen. That's out near Murray Boulevard. That eastbound commute from Hillsborough is just shy of 40 minutes, as is the northbound drive from Wilsonville. Guys, that's also pretty tight, especially from 217 to downtown. So we're in the heart of the morning commute right now. None of these unexpected, but nonetheless, it's kind of slow out there right now, guys.
All right, Chris, thank you.
I said Israel cannot fight the world, baby. They can't fight the world. And he understands that very well. So it's amazing the way it's all come together, and it's a beautiful picture.
That's President Donald Trump talking about a deal that could finally bring hostages home and Israeli troops out of Gaza. Coming up, we'll show you the celebrations across Israel and Gaza and what's next in the president's Middle East peace plan.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Blasts in Gaza could be seen from southern Israel this morning, just hours after Israel and Hamas said they had agreed to a ceasefire and hostage deal. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said the ceasefire would take effect after it's ratified by the Israeli government.
That's right. The first phase of the deal includes releasing all the living hostages and remains of the dead, and for Israeli troops to begin withdrawing from Gaza. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from D.C.
Celebrations across Israel and the Gaza Strip as word spread of a deal to free the remaining hostages from Hamas captivity in Gaza, pause the fighting and see Israel withdraw its troops to what President Trump called an agreed-upon line. He spoke overnight on Fox News about a conversation with Israel's prime minister.
I said Israel cannot fight the world, baby. They can't fight the world. And he understands that very well. So it's amazing the way it's all come together, and it's a beautiful picture.
That following dramatic moments during an event earlier Wednesday when Secretary of State Marco Rubio handed the president a note and a whispered message.
I was just given a note by the Secretary of State saying that we're very close to a deal in the Middle East.
The Israeli cabinet set to vote today on the peace plan President Trump advanced. Approval would trigger the pullback of Israeli forces, with hostages expected to be released on Monday, according to a senior White House official.
What do you guys have to say to President Trump?
Thank you! Family members of some of the remaining 48 hostages sharing their gratitude to President Trump and their determination to see the deal through.
We will not stop fighting until we see the last of the 48 return to their family.
20 of those hostages are believed to still be alive and would be the first returned in exchange for Palestinian prisoners and desperately needed aid into Gaza. Israel and Hamas so far only agreeing to phase 1 of a 20-point plan to bring a final end to 2 years of devastating war. The rest of the peace deal is even trickier, especially the requirement for Hamas to disarm and leave power. And of course, determining a future for Gaza, now in ruins. President Trump said he may travel to the Middle East as soon as this weekend, with peace talks ongoing in Egypt. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Here's a look at some other national and world headlines with your morning rush. Today is day 9 of the government shutdown, with the IRS expected to furlough nearly half of its workforce. According to the agency's initial contingency plan, the department would remain open using funds from Democrats' Inflation Reduction Act. Only about 54% of IRS employees are expected to keep working during the shutdown. A woman in her 60s died Monday after riding the Haunted Mansion ride at Disneyland in California. Security workers administered CPR after she was found unresponsive. Anaheim fire crews believe she died from a medical episode unrelated to the ride, but no official cause determined. Looking ahead to the holidays, the nation's largest artificial Christmas tree importer say they may have limited supply this year because of tariffs. Fortunately, we live in the Christmas tree capital of the world, so we've got the natural trees all around us, right? Meanwhile, the National Tree Company says it brought in less inventory so far as artificial trees goes, and they had to raise their prices 10%. And that's a look at your morning rush.
Before Kristi Noem showed up, all the protesters were right at the ICE building.
Protests outside Portland's ICE building are changing after Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem visited the Rose City. Coming up in our next half hour, how street closures and demonstrations are impacting local businesses.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Good morning, I'm Drew Carney. An appeals court hearing will start in 30 minutes at 9 o'clock to address the deployment of the National Guard to Portland. A 3-judge panel will hear from President Trump, or the Trump administration, and from the state of Oregon. Each side gets to make their case this morning. Of course, the big question is whether or not President Trump has the legal authority to send National Guard members to Portland. All right, Rod Hill, what do you have for us weather-wise?
Well, I've been watching the rain show this morning along the Cascades. This is mainly along the crest of the range and then over on the east side. And we've had some pretty good rain move up through the Dalles and even some rain in Hood River this morning. Outside of that, we have been dry. And in fact, Portland now opening up some pretty good sun. You can see the blue, 45 is the temperature. So it's a dry morning for us here in the city. 59. Could be some later in the morning showers along some of the Cascade foothill communities. The best chance of rain actually in the I-5 corridor itself holds off until mid-afternoon into early this evening when we may or may not see a few showers. Our 7-day still shows rain at times picking up tomorrow morning, and that wet pattern will stay with us through the weekend.
.30 half hour of the Sunrise Show. We're talking a little Mariners here this morning to start this half hour. They lost yesterday. That wasn't good.
They were up 3-0 at one point.
Let's not kick them while they're down. But here's the deal. They still have a chance to keep their season alive tomorrow, and fans remain superstitious. We're hearing from fans in Seattle who say they basically at this point they refuse to wash the jerseys they're wearing during these games or even their socks. They're wearing dirty socks because they feel like that's keeping the Mariners alive. Someone else went viral for eating dirt from T-Mobile Park. They thought eating the dirt from the ballpark would actually help the Mariners win somehow. I don't believe none of it.
Yeah, you don't believe any of this superstitious stuff when it comes to sport. I believe that I can have an impact on the game. That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about believers.
No, we're talking about the players on the court or on the field having the most impact, and you watching at home can't have an impact whatsoever.
Really?
Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
You know what
Sorry.
fans are, right?
Yeah.
Fanatics.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah, they're
That's
crazy.
true.
Yes.
Real quickly, the Mariners do play tomorrow. It's Game 5 of that division series with Detroit, and they're basically playing against one of the best pitchers in baseball, so it'll be a tough task. But I believe the Mariners are up to it, Rod.
So, Corey, when I have my hat on and my jersey on, it has an impact, yes?
It does. It does.
Yeah.
Just make sure you wash it.
All right. So Corey believes everything but the dirty sock
superstition
deals. Yeah, superstition. Okay, all right. We've got rain showers moving up the Cascades. We've got showers holding out to sea. This is where the rainmaker is, if you will, the low. And then this rain is one of the outer belts kind of rotating up around it. So far, that's where the rain has been, Cascades. It's gorgeous out across more areas than not. Here is Chinookwas Casino Resort in Lincoln City. Some pretty shadowing, kind of illuminating the blue sky there, 52 degrees. Wow. Here's our state capitol and some of the fall colors along the mall there. Wow. 43 degrees. Here's downtown Portland. Not as pretty, I don't think, as the Salem shot was, but still really nice. 45 is the early morning temperature. So it looks like here in the city, we will be dry into the afternoon. We are tracking the chance of a few scattered showers in the valley later this afternoon and early evening. Some of us could see some rain. A lot of us probably won't. 62 is the number. And on the forecast map, this is really mainly dry weather in most locations. Partly cloudy, 70s out east today. In fact, 77 in LeGrand, still pretty warm. We've had rain up and down the Cascades this morning. We're still seeing that. Some of that rain's been over into like the Sisters area, it looks like on radar. And then we got the scattered shower throughout on the coast. But even at the coast, it's really a mainly dry day overall. 65 the high. If we're going to get some rain in Portland, it'll come later today into early evening with a few showers. Tomorrow, though, right from the get-go, it's periods of passing rain, and some of that could be heavy. So it's a pretty wet pattern overall, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, into Monday. All right, here's Chris.
Rod, thank you for that. Let's get a look at the drive, which is as busy as it gets. There's I-5 right now through the Twilliger curves. Your northbound commute moving along at, maybe 7, 8 miles an hour. I think you could walk or run faster than that at this point. Highway 26 inbound, that's out near Murray Boulevard. Of course, all 3 lanes there slow and go. And that's probably the slowest of our inbound commutes at this point. Guys, right now we're averaging about 35 minutes to get you in from Hillsborough to the Vista Ridge Tunnel.
All right, thank you, Chris. Well, an appeals court is holding a hearing this morning to determine if the Trump administration can deploy National Guard troops here to Portland.
A federal judge blocked the administration this past weekend from deploying Guard members from Oregon and any other state to Portland. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz has more on what we can expect from today's hearing.
A court hearing is going to happen at 9 o'clock this morning, where 3 judges on an appellate court panel will hear arguments from the federal government and state of Oregon attorneys about this. That hearing will be remote. It'll also be live streamed. It really boils down to one question that judges will be determining. Does President Trump have the authority to send the National Guard to Portland based on protests we've seen?
I think the Ninth Circuit's really going to focus on whether the administration made out its case for the need to federalize National Guard troops to handle the protests.
For weeks, President Trump has slammed Portland as war-ravaged and tried to bring in the Oregon National Guard. That was blocked by federal judge Karen Immerget, who is a Trump appointee. The president then tried to bring in National Guard troops from other states, like Texas and California. That idea was also swiftly blocked. Now the appellate court's 3-judge panel will decide whether to uphold that temporary order blocking National Guard deployments or reverse it. Both the feds and state of Oregon have filed extensive briefs. Attorneys for the state argue the deployment of the National Guard is unnecessary and unlawful. The feds say the president has the authority and add extra help is needed outside the ICE facility. Both sides will get 20 minutes to present their case. That does not include any questions that judges may have as well. It's unclear when the panel will make a decision or a ruling about this. That's, of course, something we'll continue to follow closely. In South Portland, Thomas Schultz, KGW News.
Now, we also plan to stream that appeals court hearing live this morning at 9 o'clock, followed by analysis from our team here. And you can watch that on our free TV app, KGW Plus.
We've heard from some businesses near the South Waterfront who told us protest-related activity has escalated in that part of town this week. Portland police blocked off several intersections near the ICE facility before Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem made her surprise visit back on Tuesday. The old spaghetti factory, just a block away, says customers and staff couldn't get to the restaurant. Other businesses near the ICE facility said they didn't want to talk to us on camera because they're afraid of becoming a target for protesters. One business did tell us that their building has been repeatedly vandalized since the protest started. You can watch the full report on this story from Blair Best and our team at the story on our streaming TV app right here, KGW Plus.
And Seattle's mayor has signed 2 executive orders to fight back against potential guard deployments. Now, the first focuses on legal preparedness and coordination against unlawful deployment of troops. The second one focuses on strengthening services for immigrant and refugee communities, bans face masks for law enforcement, and prevents federal immigration authorities from using city property. Now, the orders also direct the Seattle Police Department to avoid federal immigration enforcement and ensure peaceful protests.
20 states have put their support behind President Trump's order to send National Guard troops to Portland and other cities around the country. A brief was filed on the basis of 3 arguments. Number 1, the brief says protesters are harming federal officers and property. Number 2, it says President Trump has legal cause to send in the National Guard. And number 3, it says blocking troop deployment could set a precedent for other states and cities dealing with similar issues.
And stay with KGW for the latest updates surrounding Portland's ICE facility and the National Guard. Make sure to look for the latest on KGW.com, on our mobile app, and right here on our free TV app, KGW Plus.
A grand jury indicted a former Westland doctor on 11 counts of sexual assault.
That's right. Alma McCarty has more details on the accusations against the doctor and why attorneys are calling the indictment a major victory.
According to a letter obtained by KGW, a confidential grand jury convened last week and after a day and a half of testimony issued an indictment that includes 11 felony sexual assault charges against David Farley. This indictment marking the first criminal charges against Farley, a former doctor who ran a family medicine practice in West Lynn. In a civil suit, more than 170 women and girls have alleged sexual abuse by Farley, who abruptly retired in 2020. The Oregon Medical Board revoked his license a few months later for, quote, unprofessional and dishonorable conduct and gross repeated acts of negligence. We spoke with attorney Courtney Tom in May of this year after a hearing in the civil case.
The strong women and children that we represent, and it's been a very extremely brutally long road, but they remain committed not only for themselves, but for the many women and children that have yet to come forward.
Alleged victims have fought for years for accountability and justice. In 2022, a Clackamas grand jury declined to indict Farley on criminal charges. And in 2024, the DA sent a letter to Oregon's Attorney General asking the state's DOJ to take up the criminal investigation.
And that was Alma McCarty reporting. As reported in the letter, Farley is expected to be arrested, booked, and arraigned tomorrow at the Clackamas County Courthouse. Now, we reached out to Farley's attorney, but we haven't heard back yet.
All right, the city of Tigard has a new mayor. It's Yi Kan-Hu, who beat out fellow Tigard City Councilor Jeanette Shaw. He takes over the role after former Tigard Mayor Heidi Lube resigned last month following an investigation into her workplace conduct. In a statement, Hu said, quote, As mayor, I'm committed to restoring stability, strengthening trust, and making sure our local government reflects the teamwork and respect our residents deserve. Who will serve through the end of 2026. All right, quick check of the traffic now with Chris McGinnis.
Yeah, hey guys, this is worth repeating as we've been doing it throughout the morning. The Broadway Bridge closes on Monday for 6 months. The county doing some maintenance and repairs to the bridge deck. That closure happens just past midnight on Monday morning, which means it will impact your Monday morning commute. TriMet's Line 17 is detoured, and the streetcar, of course, runs across the bridge. It will not for the next 6 months. So just be aware of that. Almost 20,000 cars and trucks a day use that bridge, so that's going to have a pretty significant impact on our downtown commuting as we move into next week. All right, commuting right now, there's I-5 through North Portland. It's still pretty heavy up around Columbia Boulevard. The end of the line, though, has made its way farther south. The slowest of our inbound commutes at this point is still the trip in from Hillsborough. Guys, at last check, that is still a 36-minute ride from Brookwood Parkway to the Vista Ridge Tunnel.
All right, thanks, Chris.
I'm sorry to your city for all those people who enjoyed his food and his restaurant.
Next on Sunrise, we're remembering the life of Justin Woodward, a well-known chef who left a lasting impact on Portland's food industry.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Well, Oregon's only Republican member of Congress is calling for Democrats to end the government shutdown by agreeing to a temporary funding plan. Representative Cliff Bentz says there's no indication the shutdown will come to an end anytime soon, with Democrats refusing to agree to a funding plan, saying many people could lose health insurance coverage or see their premiums become unaffordable.
And that's really sad because the consequences of the government shutdown are bad for everybody, and this could be easily ended if we had. I think we need about 5 or 6 more Democrat senators to vote for the clean CR, and then the government will reopen. People will get paid. The military will get paid. The air traffic controllers will get paid. TSA agents will get paid, and we can go ahead and talk about the issues that Democrats have in mind.
Democrats should agree to Ben says Democrats should agree to the current funding proposal, which would last until November 21st. Well, a well-known chef that worked in 2 of Portland's fine dining restaurants has died at the age of 43.
KGW's Devin Haskins has more on how the loss of Justin Woodward is opening up conversations about addiction and sobriety.
Justin Woodward was a well-respected chef in his industry. From 2015 to 2019, he was nominated each year for a James Beard Award. Never winning, he still earned accolades from food critics. In a 2013 review, Portland Monthly's Karen Brooks called him the only Portland chef cooking Michelin-level food. Woodward worked at restaurants in New York, Europe, and Portland, where for nearly 15 years he served as executive chef at Castagna and then later at OK Omens in Southeast Portland. OK Omens posting on Instagram that Justin helped define the identity of each restaurant and served as a mentor to several chefs, saying, quote, "At his core, Justin loved the art of cooking and the act of feeding people. He was exacting, loyal, and endlessly creative, someone who gave his whole self to his craft." In his obituary, his family wrote, Justin loved the outdoors and traveling the world and experiencing new places through cuisine and art. They said he died from liver failure due to alcoholism.
I'm sorry to your city for all those people who enjoyed his food and his restaurant.
Mickey Baxt is the co-founder and executive director of Ben's Friends. That's a national organization with the Portland chapter that helps those in the restaurant industry struggling with addiction to find sobriety. It's named after Ben Murray, a former chef that died by suicide surrounded by drugs and alcohol.
The restaurant hospitality industry has per capita one of the greatest percentages of substance abuse.
Baxt, 43 years sober himself, says the long hours, late nights, easy access to alcohol, and stress are some of the major factors.
Let's be honest. Working in a kitchen or working in a dining room, there's tremendous stress. So there's just so many factors.
Justin Woodward died October 2nd in San Diego. He was 43 years old. In Portland, Devin Haskins, KGW News.
All right, we're going to check in with Rod Hill, who's up on the roof. You notice he's not here next to us, Corey.
No, he's not. I'm sad about it.
Yeah, he's not even in the building. He's placed himself outside the building.
I'm not the first to say this. Others have said it before me, Drew and Corey. I need my space.
Well, you got it, Rod. What are you going to do with the space?
Up here on the KGW weather deck, brought to you by Rick's Custom Fencing and Decking. We're all dry, mostly cloudy, except for as I look straight ahead. For me, I'm looking at the West Hills, and that is clear. And I can still see the moon up top, what's left of what was a full harvest moon back on Monday night of this week. Well, our rain chance pattern has begun, and we have been tracking rain up over the Cascades so far this morning. Here's the weather flow pattern. See the big low spinning offshore. So far, the showers around the low have been holding offshore. It's actually partly cloudy and pleasant at the beach, but we're taking a little bit closer, and where you see the green, this is now a weakening flow pattern from Bend up the Cascades, up through the Dalles. At one point, our camera in the Dalles from the Oregon Veterans Home location there was showing puddling on the sidewalks. That band falling apart during the morning hours. It may produce, this is showing there could be a traceable amount of rain in places like Sandy as we get going into late morning and into noon. Models do show the chance, not much, but the chance right there, see green, of some scattered showers between Salem, Portland, and Vancouver a little bit later today. This is going into early evening around 6 p.m. A lot of us simply won't see any rain today. That changes tomorrow. Still looks like tomorrow is the kickoff of what is truly a fairly wet on and off again weather pattern Friday, Saturday, Sunday to Monday. And if true, some heavy rain rates at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, maybe some lightning with that. We've had lightning strikes around Mount Jefferson this morning. Here's later in the day with some rain moving up, and then we'll play this into Saturday, and there's just some more rain moving into the area as well. Models are still showing all total about a half of an inch to maybe more, maybe 3/4 of an inch of rain from today through Sunday. Most of this again will come tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday at the coast and valley. Some decent rain rates out across the east as well. So our pattern is changing and going to be getting increasingly wet. Here you can see the clouds over the Columbia River and the Interstate Bridge from the Springs at the Waterfront Vancouver live location. 44 degrees the temperature there. PDX 45, Salem 43, 37 the chilly spot on the map out in Burns. So this is the day with some sunshine this morning, probably increasing clouds rolling into the afternoon, and that chance of some scattered showers later today in the valley. Salem 63. So either a little bit of rain where you are or none at all. Again, later today into early evening. There's Battleground at 66. It was only 60 yesterday out at PDX, by the way. So the rainy weekend, temps in the 50s, and that shower chance goes into Monday. We might squeeze out a dry day on Tuesday. It is birthday time. All right, let's get our party going. A short list, but a good one, starting with Naomi with the Rose, who is 18 years old today. Happy birthday to you. I bet you're excited. And there's Kieri, who is 23 today. Happy birthday to you. Big, beautiful smile. Celebrating on this Thursday. And that's our list today. Birthdays at KGW.com. And we will celebrate with you. From the weather deck, let's go back inside. Here's Chris McGinnis.
Thank you for that, Rod. We are over the hump, sort of. The drive times are finally on their way down. So that's the good news. The bad news is we still have some work to do coming in from Hillsborough. 34 minutes, the average drive time now from Brookwood Parkway. It's real slow. That's live at the Sylvan Hill Skyline Boulevard. So you can see that traffic still puttering along, coming down the hill as well. And at last but not least, 205 over the Glen Jackson, wide open, no problems. I-5. That's good over the Interstate Bridge, but you hit the brakes right around Lombard, and from there it's slow and go the rest of the way down into the Rose Quarter.
All right, Chris, you've got traffic duty. I've got toy drive duty. And it's my duty to let our viewers know now is the time to sign up to help us collect toys this year. So we don't kick the drive off for another few weeks, but you do have to sign up now if you want to hop on board and be a toy drive collector. You could be a business owner, you could be part of a local organization. All you need to do is go to kgw.com/toy, and when you sign up, we will send you the official KGW Great Toy Drive Collection Kit.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
Well, in our top stories this morning, in just a few minutes, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals will hold a hearing to once again address the deployment of the National Guard here to Portland. A three-judge panel will hear from both the state of Oregon and the Trump administration, who will each make their cases this morning. Now, the big question remains, does President Donald Trump have the authority to send the National Guard here to Portland? That hearing is set to start at 9 o'clock. And the city of Tigard has appointed a new mayor. Yi Kan-hu won the vote 5-1 and was selected over Councilor Jeanette Shaw, who takes over the role after former Mayor Heidi Loob stepped down last month following an investigation into her workplace conduct. And finally, Timberline is warning of higher prices this season, this after a change in insurance coverage. The resort saying its insurance carrier left Oregon on October 1st, forcing it to find new insurance, but at a much steeper price. Some of that extra cost will be passed on to skiers and boarders.
Well, so far we've been looking at rain up and down the Cascades. That's pushed up through Hood River and the Dalles. Prineville in Central Oregon reporting a 1/10 of an inch of rain. Portland likely dry until we see what could be a few scattered showers mid-afternoon into early evening. Pretty wet day weather pattern, though, tomorrow through the weekend.
The drive times are slowly on their way down. Believe it or not, 30 minutes an improvement to get you in from Hillsborough, Brookwood Parkway to I-405, and the drive through North Portland still slow from Lombard into the Rose Quarter. It's about 18 minutes bridge to bridge from the interstate to the Fremont.
All right, I have to tell you about something that's out of this world, and Corey, I'm going to ask for your help. I think you'll know when it's time for you to go. So Here we go. Out of world news this morning.
Yeah.
New video from 2 orbiters shows wind on Mars. Wind really kicking up some dust. The red planet's winds are strong.
How strong are they, Drew? Let us know.
Okay, Corey, I'll tell you. They're so strong, they're causing giant dust devils that are twisting across Mars' surface. And there you see it this morning. And there you go.
That is out of this world.
Well, thank you, Chris. As I'm watching you and I'm watching Rod watch that video, and I'm thinking, but the boys are not, they're not engaged
Well,
here.
I'm wondering, maybe Chris knows the answer to this. Do we have imagery ways to get an estimate on those wind speeds that you're aware of? Or
He's doing it again. He's asking those
What would
questions.
be fast?
We don't know the answer to.
I presume so. I presume those NASA folks are pretty smart and have a way.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know because I actually watch these videos with my son.
Yeah, I was going to say,
We
why
sit
did you
there and
think
watch
Chris
these
would know
cool
that, though?
videos.
Why
and-
Chris?
Chris is smart.
Okay.
That is why I thought maybe
I'm
he
smart
would know.
enough to hang out with this crew day after day after day.
Our producer, Michael, says they're moving at speeds of 99 miles an hour.
I believe it.
Ooh,
Okay?
Really?
Yeah, Michael just got my ear and told me 99 miles an hour.
That's that song Beers on the Wall.
Yeah. Also 1.21 gigawatts.